My team and I, we see so much value for money for our investors. I'm about to dive deep into the numbers, into the ROI projections, into the specifications of the building. I read countless of reports and obviously articles as a preparation for this video to give you all the insights why commercial. 10 to 17% net ROI. I know, that sounds like an unrealistic dream to a serious investor like yourself. Omniat has established the Opus by Zaha Hadid, which is a landmark of Dubai. And today we are going to discover Lumina Alta, which is the next chapter after the massive success of Lumina. It was established by GET Architecture, who are from China and who are behind some of the most incredible developments worldwide. The actual net ROI, which is the most important KPI here, is 10.7% with a very, very conservative calculation. Investors who are doing the math on it, they understand the value. It's a complete no-brainer. With 1,100 dirhams per square foot applied, we achieve 17% in net ROI. And this is what I will call a high performance investment. Bonjour, hello and welcome back to Deals with Simon. For the first time in the history of this channel, we're about to discover an ultra luxury commercial grade A++ building. It's Lumina Alta by none other than Omniat. And as we all know, Omniat is one of my absolute favorites for good reasons, because they are behind some of the most unique and iconic hospitality and residential experiences that we find here in Dubai. Now, when it comes to Omniat, they are actually a developer who deliver on their promises, and we are standing right now in the Opus by Zaha Hadid, which was their first very, very successful building. And today we are going to discover Lumina Alta, which is the next chapter after the massive success of Lumina. I'm about to dive deep into the numbers, into the ROI projections, into the specifications of the building. We're diving deep into the overall concept, because it's not just a commercial building, it's a complete business ecosystem, and it's something which you cannot miss out if you're a serious investor and if you're interested in really multiplying your capital and acquiring an asset which is literally a money printing machine. With that being said, let's get into it and let's enjoy the action.
More and more businesses are coming to Dubai. Not only is population growth, but also economical growth and the business growth has been tremendous. And the corporations and the businesses that are coming are demanding today not only grade A office spaces, but they're demanding sustainability, they're demanding wellness, they're demanding leisure for their employees, demanding connectivity. Some of the best things that they have seen in New York or London, Hong Kong, and we try to inspire from everything around the world.
My team and I, we see so much value for money for our investors, for investors who are looking for strong and high yield assets that produce cash flow like over a long period of time in the future, because of the numbers, facts and figures, and that's exactly why we're going in there. Now, you see on your screen right now a couple of numbers, because I read countless of reports and obviously articles as a preparation for this video to give you all the insights why commercial, and especially why grade A++ commercial. And you see that the volume and even the value year on year as a growth, it's absolutely spectacular, okay? Another aspect which is very important to understand once we look into this segment of commercial is the supply and demand dynamics, and obviously the tenant profile. Now, just imagine you owning an asset which you renting out not to an individual, but actually to a company of 20, 50, 100 employees. And these tenants, they are thinking long term. These companies, they are furnishing, for example, the office and branding the office very customized, and they're not planning to leave. Omniat has established the Opus by Zaha Hadid, which is a landmark of Dubai, if you want so. A multifunctional development where we have retail, we have a hotel, we have residential, we have F&B, and the whole cosmos here is on a very high level overall in Dubai. When it comes to residential masterpieces, for example, they are collaborating with a Dorchester Collection, with Foster & Partners, again with Zaha Hadid Architects, with Udecine as the interior designer, with Gilles Le Bussier as the interior designer. So these globally renowned brands, they collaborate with Omniat because they know exactly that Omniat can deliver on their promises and that they are the market leader overall in Dubai. Omniat as a brand brings you the resale value, brings you literally the added value overall when it comes to owning this asset and maximizing out the investment potential.
We have gone all out to create everything authentic about Omniat. The combination of elevated living, combination of design, combination of sustainability and wellness. We brought in all our principles together, and thanks to the location, it's actually enabled us to celebrate it even further.
regardless if it's commercial, residential, or whichever part of the real estate industry, the location is probably one of the most important components to identify the potential of an investment in itself. And that's exactly why I'd like to directly jump into it and give you an overview where we are positioned and why I believe the location of Lumina Alta together with Lumina as a gateway to Business Bay is probably an irreplaceable location, and it couldn't be better. Speaking of the accessibility, if you're coming from the Sheikh Zayed Road, you can see following the brown line here, there is the plot, and you only need to go around if you want to exit the building later on, around the building once, following the white line here, make one U-turn exactly here on this point, and then within a few minutes you're directly back on Sheikh Zayed Road. And here, this is one of the most important assets which I haven't even explained, which is the Business Bay metro station. A lot of employees will come and go by metro, and having that right in front of the doorstep is just another incredible asset. What we can see right in front of us is a gorgeous, futuristic, twisted facade style and design. It was established by GET Architecture, who are from China and who are behind some of the most incredible developments worldwide. The building spans over 380 meters in total height, and we have different components here. We're speaking about a 5-star hotel over here. We're obviously speaking about the offices, 45 floors of offices. We're having in total a G+72 building, so 73 floors in total. What we have here, these are the podiums, which we're about to speak in a second when it comes to the parking. And on the ground floor, we will find retails, F&B. We'll find beautiful restaurants. We'll find cafes. Literally everything that a high-value tenant needs to have the highest possible experience, and that's how you attract these high-end companies exactly into a building like Lumina Alta. Omniat has come up with a solution for two of the main issues and problems which you find in literally every single commercial building here in Dubai, which is number one, the parking, and number two, the elevator, especially the time it takes you to get into your office. Look, Omniat has come up with an incredible solution in terms of the parkings, because we find, number one, the podiums here and even 6 basements. So in total, we have the capacity for 1,000 individual parking bays. And considering that we only have 100 exclusive units of office spaces, that means we have approximately 10 parking bays per unit, which is quite incredible. The second part is the elevator. So we find not a standard elevator. They have included a double-deck passenger lift system, which basically means that there are 2 cabins vertically stacked onto each other. So we have 18 of those double-deck passengers, and that means we have in total 36 individual cabins. So if you do the math on it, to get to the highest level of the commercials, actually, of the offices, it takes you literally seconds to reach your office and you're never stuck. Lumina Alta is not just an absolute high-end commercial building, it's the full experience. So let me emphasize on a couple more details about the overall building and what's included there and what kind of an effect that will have on the actual overall ROI. So we are finding 45 floors of pure office floors, okay, and a gross sellable / a gross leasable area in the overall building of 723,000 square foot. Now, above the offices, we'll find 3 floors of amenities. On the 52nd, 53rd, and 54th, we have 3 floors purely for amenities for the actual offices, okay? So we're speaking about an indoor lab pool, we're speaking about a fully equipped gym, there's even like a business center as well, okay? And on top of it, so from the 56th floor all the way up to floor number 72, we'll find a 5-star hotel, okay? And that hotel has a huge impact, obviously, on the overall experience, because just imagine you're having an upcoming launch, you're having an important event in your company, and you're inviting guests from all over the world. You can accommodate these guests directly in the hotel and deliver them the best possible experience. And as we know, Omniat collaborates only with the highest level brands like a Deutsches Collection, for example, and something similar is what we can expect here.
Lumina Alta not only gives you a beautiful office environment with an indoor-outdoor experience and a mesmerizing views, its connection to exceptional amenities that is coming into it, from business center to fitness to wellness to business clubs to hotel and a Sky Hotel and all the different components that come to Sky Hotel, to the Sky Lounge, which is going to be one of the very, very unique features. This beautiful Sky Hotel in Lumina Alta will have the ability to create an indoor-outdoor experience at over 350-meter skyline with a full skyline of the city from Burj Al Arab all the way to Burj Khalifa, complete panoramic experience.
Let's continue with the unit specs. So as you can see clearly, every single office comes with a private terrace. So depending on the size of the office, it's either 1 or 2 terraces, and obviously depending on the layout. Now I'd like to explain you the lift banks for a second, because we have 3 different lift banks from 1, 2, and 3. And it's basically just the positioning, the categorization of the office levels. So lift bank 1, as you can see here, starting at around 4,500 square foot, the offices go all the way up to 5,600 in size. When it comes to lift bank 2, 4,500 to 6,000 square foot, and lift bank 3, the sizes go all the way up to 7,700 square foot, so we're seeing massive offices. Additionally, we'll find some full floors as well in between, okay? And when it comes to the full floors, we're speaking about sizes ranging in between 16 and 20,000 square foot overall. That's a different topic, a different concept, how to basically structure these kind of investments. Very, very high potentials as well. When it comes to the types, to the views, we have 3 unit types. We have unit type 01, which looks completely towards the coastline. So this is the direction Burj Al Arab. This is the direction Jumeirah Beach, okay? And this is unit type 01. 02 looks in this direction. So here again, we have partial sea view as well as partial Burj Khalifa view. And unit type 3 looks towards my direction right now, so this direction. And this is completely downtown, okay? Burj Khalifa, as well as Business Bay, so literally this skyline. Let's finally dive into the investment potential. Let's look at the raw numbers, the facts, and the most important KPIs in order to evaluate the tremendous investment potential of a product like Lumina Alta. And for that matter, I compared several buildings out there in the commercial space which are anywhere close to Lumina Alta's quality standards. Let me emphasize on the fact that there's nothing which is equal to it, but the ones which are coming close are the Opus by Zaha Hadid, which is from Omniat, ICD Brookfield, and the Emirates Towers, both in DRC. And these 3 buildings, okay, I looked into the rental contracts, specifically at the dirham amount per square foot, in order to use that as a benchmark later on for the ROI projections of Lumina Alta. And I was stunned, because where these buildings are already trading now in the year 2025 and not even close to what Lumina Alta brings to the table, I was blown away, and you will be as well when we look into the ROI in a second. But for now, let's look at a couple of examples. These are 3 rental contracts which I took out of DXB Interact, okay? So these are the current ones of the year of 2025, where they were basically established, and you can see that we are seeing rents commanding in the range of 778 dirhams per square foot here. Here are 824, and here are 1,090 dirhams per square foot. Just have these numbers on your mind, and I could even go deeper. I could look into ICD Brookfield and Emirates Towers, where they command 1,200, 1,400, all the way up to 1,800 dirhams per square foot rents, not selling price, okay? And this is a very important benchmark by now looking into the ROI calculation. 10 to 17% net ROI. I know, that sounds like an unrealistic dream to a serious investor like yourself. But once we look into the numbers, facts, and figures, into the actual calculation that I have come up, this is actually the reality. So with that being said, let's directly get into the overview, which I have prepared for you. So we see on the left side, I just used an example office with a size of 5,725 square foot and a rental amount of only 700 dirhams in the first example. Okay, so 700 dirhams is more than unrealistic in terms of like conservative, okay? And that would result in a total rent of 4 million dirhams. Then we have service charges, obviously, which we need to deduct of 28 dirhams per square foot is the expected amount. That equals the net income in this case of 3.8 million dirhams. Then we have the 4% Dubai land department fee and the 5% VAT as the tax, which we need to deduct, which equals here 2.9 million in this example. And I have obviously put in one column, which is important, the total investment amount, and obviously where we have the office, which is a purchase price of expected 33 million dirhams, and with all the charges which we have right in front of us, that would result in 35.97 million dirhams as a total investment, okay? And the actual net ROI, which is the most important KPI here, is 10.7% with a very, very conservative calculation, okay? And that shows you that this is more than realistic, because if we calculate and apply the 900 dirhams per square foot, okay, which is even below the average what I'm expecting later on, because I anticipate 1,000, 1,100 as the entry into such a building, similar like what we see in ICD Brookfield nowadays already, that would result in nearly 14%, 13.8 to be accurate. And with 1,100 dirhams per square foot applied, we achieve 17% in net ROI. And this is what I will call a high performance investment. To make this investment an absolute no-brainer, let me introduce you into a 50-50 payment plan that Omniat has come up for Lumina Alta, because the anticipated completion date is in Q4 2030, which is 5 years from now on, where we're making this video at the moment. And that means that you can split your payments and structure it for the next 5 years. That allows you maximum financial flexibility. So we're starting with a 5% payment on booking, as well as the 15% upon signing the SPA in order to complete the 20% down payment as usual when we acquire properties. And then in the second year, it's 5% and 5%, so that equals 10%, as well as in the third and fourth year, and only by the end of 2030, okay, where we have the completion / the handover, the remaining amount of 50% is due. So that allows you so many different options, even when it comes to resales, and specifically the 50% on handover. They can be mortgaged, they can be financed, and how that looks in practice with an actual unit number, that's what we look into right now. Let's consider we are acquiring a single office unit as a pure investment. The financial breakdown would look as the following, because the average price per square foot overall in the building, depending on the layout, the units, the size, and multiple factors, is in between 4,800 dirhams and 6,900. Considering that an absolute standard office in DFC trades in the range of 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 dirhams per square foot, this makes it a complete no-brainer if you did calculate in and count in all the other factors which we were talking about in this video. Now, for my example, I came up with the unit number 4201, which is in the third bank, so on the higher level, and it is the 01 layout, which looks towards the Jumeirah beach side. And the size here of this particular asset is 5,725 square foot, and the price would then be approximately 33 million dirhams, resulting in 8.9 million US dollars, okay? And now we're coming to the most important part, which is the breakdown of the individual payments per year, because you will see that allows you maximum flexibility even for the resales later on. So coming on to the year of 2025, let's consider we are acquiring this asset in this current year where I'm producing this video. That will result in an investment of 6.6 million dirhams and $1.8 million, okay? That's 20% in the beginning. Now, the upcoming 3 years of 2026, 27 and 28 requires only 900,000 US dollars, okay, per year. And you are owning this asset. And the most important aspect is that in the year of 2030, okay, with the handover and completion of the project, the 16.5 million dirhams / the 4.5 million US dollars, you can easily mortgage this particular amount. And this is what I highly recommend and highly suggest, because we are maximizing literally our cash flow situation, and we're using OPM, other people's money, the bank basically, okay, in order to get the max out of this investment. The mortgage rates can vary, obviously, right? But in the current year, especially since I'm involved in a couple of residential deals with non-residents, we're speaking about 5.5 to 5.9% maximum, which is the mortgage rate. So this is how the breakdown looks when we acquire this asset, and you can see the financial logic is extremely attractive.
They celebrate iconicness, they celebrate design, they celebrate human enablement. I'm looking forward to opening these beautiful gateway buildings, and I think it will be an excellent addition to the city.
Let's summarize this deep dive of Lumina Alta by Omniat, which could be pretty likely your future money printing machine. And you've seen literally all the numbers, facts, and figures which are important. You've seen exact and accurate ROI projections and calculations. I've shown you the whole story, the whole concept of the product in itself, because the numbers, they are built on the quality of the product, because it is literally an elevation of anything which is out there in the commercial segment of the buyer's real estate market. And this is exactly why my team and I see so much value for money. And if you're looking for a strong and high yield asset that produces cash flow without end, because considering the 10 to 17% net ROI, after 6, 7, 8 years maximum, you have completely paid off the asset, and from there on it is net cash flow in your pocket, and the profit margin is insane. So if you're looking for something like that, then it's time to take action. Look, Lumina was sold out in 7 weeks. Lumina Alta, I expect very similar things, and 40 to 50% of the total supply of Lumina Alta is already gone in the pre-launch phase, right? This is how much demand is on it, because investors who are doing the math on it, they understand the value. It's a complete no-brainer, and that's why we see this particular situation. So with that being said, kindly click the link below this particular video. Fill out the form. Let's have a one-on-one consultation. It will take 45 minutes of my time. I will consult in the best possible way. We can do a call which takes less time. We can do a call that takes even more time. I want to tailor it for your individual journey and where you stand exactly, and want to answer you every single question that you might have on your mind. With that being said, click the link below, take action, see you on the other side, and I'll see you in Dubai.